You just don't know. So that's where I'm at with not implementing my own variable routine for the weekends. Now, there is another way to look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Upgrade My Rituals podcast. My name is Kevin McKella, the host of the show, and of course this is the show for solopreneurs and business owners who are looking to find a little bit more productivity and be a little bit more efficient and trying to execute on something that I like to call really their ideal day. This day that's mapped out so perfectly for them, and when they, actually even come close, it just feels so good. More on a holistic level. So they feel good about what they accomplished. They feel good about who they are. They feel good about, kind of what's coming down the pike. And I'm sure many times you've probably hit the pillow at the end of the night just feeling like, oh gosh, there's just not enough time in the day. And there's just, I don't know where I'm headed or what I'm doing, or right? So there's a whole system, obviously, that goes into that. And while I'm getting off on a tangent so early on, that's not really what we're talking about today. In a way, we are going to kind of touch on that and kind of show you why that's so important. But what today's conversation is going to be revolved around is kind of where and when I'm filming this right now and why that's a problem. So what I mean is today is a Sunday night. So I'm filming this on Sunday night, probably won't come out to Thursday, Sunday night, and I had the weekend, right? And today's conversation is going to be regarding the weekends. Why the weekends are such a problem to some people and so awesome to many other people. So again, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're, a one-woman or one-man shop, and you're listening to this, you're probably a person falling under the camp where the weekends are a problem. And let's talk about why the weekends are a problem, at least for me, right? Weekends are a problem is this. I have all this time in front of me, right? I have 48 hours. And the very first thing I think of doing is working all 48 hours. And it's a problem. It's a problem because I, number one, know I'm not going to do it. Number two, I know I shouldn't do it. And number three, I still think like that. So it's a problem. And I've been trying to work on reframing that in my head, and I'm not really getting anywhere. I'm going to be honest with you. So, while today is not necessarily a day of an episode of teaching or opinions, it's really me trying to see if you guys are feeling the same way that I'm feeling. So again, I look at the weekend and I say, all right, I got 48 hours. I'm going to do so much stuff, and it's always revolved around the business because that's the primary focus in my life, short of family, of course. But that's where I'm at right now, right? That's what I'm doing. The problem is this. I know that the weekends have other priorities, and I have other things that when they're presented to me, I want to be doing. So for instance, I strategically don't do my ritual design on the weekends. I do not wake up early. I wake up late. Like today I woke up at 9:45. I mean, and that's not even going to bed super late. I go to bed around 12, right, on the weekends. I just sleep. I just crash. Not because I'm super tired. I don't know. I just do. That's just what I do. Snuggle with my boy Ollie, right? And my wife usually gets up, pretty much earlier. But I will sometimes wake up. I'll go get bagels. Bagels are not part of my diet. They're just not, right? But I'll do it because it's the weekend. Like these two magical days that don't exist, right? And I say to myself, well, it's still early, okay, I'll sit down and I'll spend some quality time with my wife, we'll take my boy around the block for a walk, it'll be all good. And then reality hits. And then I say, oh, wow, I got a lot of stuff around the house to do. Because especially in the wintertime, I mean, sun's, down by 5 o'clock, I can't do anything around the house. There's a lot of stuff that especially needs to be done. I mean, I just finished the leaves now. It's like December, middle of December, and I just finished doing the leaves. Like it's a problem, right? But like, for instance, today, that was my whole day, just doing leaves, right? And, again, yesterday, I mean, and what's really crazy is that if we go out as a family to do something, that's great. That's a good thing. I feel like I'm being productive in that part of my life, right? I'm spending quality time with my wife or maybe her family or whatever it may be. So I'm like, I'm okay with that. It's not that I'm not okay with that, but there's always that thing in the back of my mind, like, oh, I gotta, I could use this time to do, right? And that's a problem. So now there are methods around this, and I have yet to implement them because I'm not there yet. I'm not there in my life. It's not a big enough problem for me to spend time and energy on, but it is something I think I will. For instance, in my very own system that I've created called ritual design, there is a thing called the variable routine. The variable routine is for the exact situation that I just mapped out. It's for somebody that says, they want to do something on the weekends, specifically for something, whatever it may be, whether it's their business or whether it's their, body or their, whatever it is, I don't care, their hobbies. And they've implemented, okay, so on Saturday, that's going to be like my routine. I'm going to do the variable routine. So whatever that is, if it's on Saturday morning, you wake up and you go to the coffee shop for 3 hours to, blog or whatever you're doing. Or if it's, I'm going to, on 2:00, every Sunday, we do, I don't know, I practice with my softball team or something, like whatever it is, but that's a routine that you're going to set, and it falls under the variable category because it's not the AM routine, PM, something that happens during the week or whatever it may be. It happens once, maybe randomly, maybe every other weekend. You don't know. That's what it's there for. And I have yet to establish that. And I think because in my life, it's not always 100% viable. Meaning, if I set a variable routine, say on Saturday, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to wake up, make my wife a cappuccino or something, whatever, walk the dog. And then for the next 3 hours, I'm going to work on the business. It's all this, uninterrupted time, whatever it is. But that doesn't always work because it's not just my life. Like I have other commitments. I have other friends. I have other family. My wife has a life that she wants to share with me every once in a while. So, if say, I implement that variable routine and 2 weeks in goes great. And by the third week, all of a sudden, we got to go, to Home Depot because we're redoing whatever. I mean, how many projects? I mean, this one was a big one, right? Like, you just don't know. So that's where I'm at with not implementing my own variable routine for the weekends. Now, there is another way to look at this. You could say, well, I'm going to specifically use the weekends as time off from any work whatsoever. I'm going to optimize this weekend to have as much fun and relaxation and, whatever it may be. That's great too. I'm really happy for somebody who is able to do that. That's not my life because of the fact, like I said, we don't have a full-time maid. We don't have a full-time, landscaper. We don't have those things that enables you to do that. And the weekends usually, the time you got to get some cleaning done. Like it's just real life for having a house, suburban life, right? Like it's just, that's what it is. But it is good because then it pressures you into having to make that time to do something fun. Go to a restaurant you haven't been to in a while or ever been to. Try, something you've never done. Do something you haven't done in a long time, whatever it may be. I think however you choose to implement or try to fix the problem of your weekend. I do think it's a one or the other type of thing. I think it's a black or white situation. And I think the biggest problem that I've been having is that, did not plan that wearing a gray shirt. I'm kind of gray about it, right? I'm falling in the middle because if I have time, for instance, tonight, I'm filming this, I feel pretty good. It's 9:20. I'm going to try to get some of the editing done. I'm going to try to see and I'm still, if I don't complete it and get that much, I may not feel 100% happy, but I should. But that's the problem. I haven't drawn a line in the sand to say either the weekends are complete relaxation or the weekends are, I'm implementing at least a variable routine and I'm going to really be strategic and stick to it. That's the problem. I can't implement the variable routine because I have other commitments in my life. Now, there is a conversation that I may be able to have with my wife and say, hey, listen, I'm going to try to do this, at least on the Saturdays that we don't have something to do. I'm going to try to do 2 hours from say 10 to 12. You think you could work with me and try to make sure that is my time? The problem is that I don't want to do that to her, right? I don't want to make her life work around mine any more than it already is. If she was looking forward to snuggling up and watching a good movie tonight, we're not, because I'm doing this, right? So she makes so many sacrifices for me already. I need, another one? You know what I mean? So it's interesting. It's an interesting conversation, and I appreciate you letting me vent about this a little bit and trying to work this out myself, because I think it's a good thing for you guys to start thinking through. How are your weekends? What are you doing on your weekends? And are you happy at the end of them? Because right now, I think I'm not super happy. I'm somewhat content, but there's still tension there because I still feel like I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. But then again, I didn't relax as much as I did because I was just doing leaves all day. There's really no happy answer. Here's what's crazy is that the system that I've built is designed for this. So I'm going to use it on my own. But I've just never did, because in the past, I did tell myself that the only thing that had consistent was that the weekends were going to be completely inconsistent. The problem is when you start adding up all those hours and all those days gone by that you could have done something and you could have made progress on something if it was consistent. For instance, if every single weekend from, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I went down to the American Ninja gym, right? We have a few towns over. We have a really good American Ninja Warrior gym. And I know this because I submitted a tape once and I did not make it, but it was a really good tape. And by tape, I mean a video. I don't know why I'm saying tape, but if I said every single Saturday I'm going to go, I guarantee I would be way better than I am now. I don't know if I would ever be able to make it on the show, but I would be way, way better. It's just not something that I put as a priority, right? So I kind of let things come to me. But when things come to me, right, we all know this, you're not in control of the outcome long term. So whenever I have some time, I got to do the leaves today, I got to do the house, I got to fill my tires in the car, change the oil, and I got to, clean the basement. That's not being strategic with your time. That's not looking at any type of possible routines that you can implement to do something. So I think, like I said, I'm going to let you go. I really appreciate you guys listening to me, and I hope this conversation has made you open your own window into your weekends. Are they successful? Are they not? However you define success for the weekends. But like I said, I hope it helped. And I'm going to keep tabs on this, and I'm going to report back to you guys about what I do with my weekends other than what I've been doing, which is kind of letting them completely, just be unpredictable and come at me, which is, I don't think a great way to do this. So guys, thank you so much for being an ear for me to vent to. And like I said, I hope this listening to this has made you think about what you're doing in the weekends, how you feel at the end of this, Sunday night, and what you're going to maybe do differently moving forward. And if you are doing something differently, I would love to hear it. Leave a comment. Let me know. And if you like this, definitely subscribe to the channel and leave a review on iTunes. That would be really, really great for the podcast. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week on the Upgrade My Rituals podcast.